Do you know what day is today? Today is Tuesday, and today we are gonna learn about stuff that you don't learn about in high school. Damn, that was way more smoother than I thought. Oh my god. Oxygen and magnesium are dated. OMG! the elements, you know, like oxygen we write it O, like when we're like doing chemistry, and like magnesium is like Mg. So like when you like date them, they're like OMG. Only nerds for physics and chemistry can understand that. Sorry. If you don't, sorry.
Human experience that transcends borders of language, geography, and lifestyle. No one has to teach us to laugh, and people everywhere do it pretty much the same way.
He said that we are like 30 times like more likely to laugh with other people like we are around them than ourselves. Also, I feel like I break this rule because look at me. Yeah.
You're weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Laughing is that difficult. Breathing.
It never made me realize I'm super conscious right now about how weird laughing is, especially my laugh, like literally, like you literally just go and swing like that, and it's like, oh yeah.
Eventually, this side-splitting mystery infected hundreds of people.
Oh my god. The fun, there was a laughing disease. Like literally, in some school in Tanzania, 3 girls started laughing, and then later on, like 95 of the students, like literally just started laughing like uncontrollably. One of them, like some of them actually started laughing for like 16 days. Imagine, you're literally laughing for 16 days like that. And later on they had to shut the school because like they couldn't control the laugh anymore. That's fake. That's real. Exactly. I'm real. Oh my god, I'm a laughter expert. Period.
Other people are less.
Oxygen and potassium went on a date. It was okay. It was okay. Do you get it? Basically saying that many times we laugh, not for humor, but like for bonding, which is an interesting idea. But I think that many times I actually do laugh at humor. But I usually find myself like actually laughing at humor when I feel like the person is not trying to make me laugh, you know? If they're like just so chill and they just being themselves, you know? I feel like someone is like constantly trying to make me laugh. I don't laugh anymore because I feel like I'm conscious about it right now, like shit, like this is not funny anymore. When there is an actual real laughter, like our lungs, you know, the ribcage just kind of like contracts and like kind of like squeezes air out like in a very like high frequency, like in and out, in and out, in and out. That's like how we laugh, you know? So this is what happens in a real laugh, you know? But when we try to fake a laugh, it's like we're never gonna be able like to kind of like stimulate the same frequency of like squeezing in and out, like that air in the same frequency as it is in a real laugh. So that's why no matter about how hard we try to like actually make a laugh look spontaneous, it doesn't really look that way. Oh girl, it's a cold winter night. Anyways, many times our brains actually associate different things with different stuff. For example, if you really just like went canoeing one time and then you actually found out a snake, right? So this must be a very terrifying experience. So moving forward, you will always be like, okay, so canoeing is danger because I met a snake right there. So that means that we should not be doing this again. This is like the message that was like engraved into your brain. And this can happen even to love, you know? We actually knew certain people before that actually hurt us, that actually abused us, that actually did to us something that they thought it was love, you know what I mean? And we thought it was love, but it was not love, you know, because love doesn't hurt. Love is not abuse, you know, love is not violence, love is none of these things, you know. They don't even know what love is, you know, and they convinced us that it was love. And so what happens is that whenever that someone wants to love you truly, you actually had already these like preconceived ideas about what love is, you know, and you really just saw about how much he hurted you, you know what I mean? And so you are afraid of that love, you know, because you have a very distorted idea about what love is. And so whenever someone literally just comes to you and love you, you're like, no, love is not really a good thing. Even if you actually like probably ask yourself consciously, will be like, oh, love is a good thing and I would love love and all of these things, you know, but your subconscious is like, no, love is bad. How irrational our mind are, you know what I mean? When you literally just get into the subconscious and how all of these processes happens very automatically and we're not even aware of it. All the years that we spend in fear are so much more painful than that one day, you know, when you really got that very traumatizing experience in which was built all of these fears. It actually stops them from living life, you know what I mean, and just wallowing in regrets, you know. And I was just really thinking about how much of a better word it is to actually, you know, change that. I've been hurt and traumatized in so many ways and I'm trying to undo that. It's not really hard to like actually understand like what happened to me in the past. I think what's hard is to actually like rewrite my own mind, to reprogram my own mind. That's really the hard part I feel for me right now. Seduction. The art of seduction actually. They actually mentioned 4 elements, which are desire, self-confidence, arousal, and body language. And I think that these are interesting elements, but I just really couldn't stop thinking that for me, when I think about people that are seductive, it kind of like really goes a little bit deeper than that. It doesn't really matter what they're saying, it just really feels like they are super grounded in whatever they're saying, and it's like they are just so, you can feel like they are just accepting of everything of they are, and it's like they have this such a presence in the present moment that whenever they're saying, it's like they're fully embodying it and they're fully feeling it in themselves, you know what I mean? It's like their conscious mind is like in alignment with their subconscious mind. I recognize the pretty privilege, and I don't really say that pretty privilege doesn't really exist. And I think, to be honest, pretty privilege is like almost this facade at the beginning. Like it's like this, almost like it's an appetizer, almost, you know what I mean? But if you are just pretty without nothing on your mind, many times like all the seduction just goes away, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, if you're not that very good looking, but at the same time you just really have your own way with words, and you have like this presence, this grounded about yourself, then I really think, to be honest, then you can like just like gain like, I don't know, like 1,000 points on the seduction scale, I think. I really would love to explore about how to actually live a good life. I know that this is probably such a basic question, but I think the basic questions are the best because they are very essential for life.
Questioning and to never stop striving for truth, to continue working to live better, to know more, and to revise your position based on new evidence. Philosophers are convinced that this is the best way.
I think what really is interesting to me is that it actually says that there is like always like these conflicting opinions, if you will, about how to live a good life. For example, Camus actually said that nothing matters, and on the other hand, there is meaning to anything that you do if you actually chose to give meaning to it, basically. And I feel like many times people actually stop on the first half of that sentence and really just find it depressing. But at the same time, in a way, like you can actually make meaning of anything that you choose to give meaning to, basically. And on the other hand, there is Socrates. The way to actually live a good life is to actually be masterful of one's self and to actually be striving always to be a better person, right? And I don't really know, I think that I am more on the hedonist side, I guess, in a way. People who practice philosophy are also simply people who ask why, who are willing to challenge something that does not seem right, to listen into other people's opinions, and to be ever ready to accept new truths if evidence is there. Revising constantly your ideology is the best way to live a good life, according to philosophy. The last sentence I added myself, but that was pretty much the message they really wanted to convey into this video, at least from what I understood. This study basically followed up the lives of, I believe, like something like 750 or something men, and like their whole entire lives, basically at the age of 19 or something. They kind of like really asked them constantly, you know, like every few years probably, or like every year or something, questions about their lives. They videotape concerns within their family. You know what I mean? They did a lot of things, like they really like got a lot of information about their lives as much as they could, right? So that they will be able to actually go and get what does actually living a good life, looks like. You know what I mean? What did we actually learn from the lives of these people? Good relationships are basically the backbone of living a good life. Being lonely is literally toxic. Like being lonely literally just kills you in your life. And I'm very aware of that, to be honest. And I can actually just say that I'm a chapter of my life right now where I exactly feel connected to people around me and everything. When you're gonna like have good parents that love you and care about you in the proper way, like that actually know about how to parent you, there is no secret that this is gonna be helping you to live a better life. They're not gonna be like giving you a lot of trauma, at least. And the trauma absolutely literally just affects your your mental well-being and how many years it's gonna live. You know what I mean? You are gonna feel supported and loved throughout your life. And honestly, it really just like life is already quite hard, to be honest. And then later on, when you really just feel like you're not supported and you don't really like have anyone that like can kind of like help you out and just be there for you through the hard times, it is really really fucking sad, honestly, when things get that way, I guess. And I feel like in a way in our modern life, people like always would love to show up as like, oh my god, I'm independent and I don't need nobody and everything. And I think that that's not true. I think that's not true. I think it's really important to actually be like enjoying your time alone. That's very important, because people are not going to be around you all the time. But I think that just really taking this as a solution, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna need no person because I'm gonna be just fine on my own, is really not a good way to live, because we are social creatures. It's right, it's true. We have social needs, and it doesn't really matter for how long you're gonna try to like have the best time with yourself. You have to socialize, You have to socialize with people because that's a need. That's a need like any other need in you that you really should find a way or another to fulfill, you know what I mean? And yeah, I think that's important, I'm not really just saying that I figured out this whole like social things. I always really just found problems with making friends. I do make friends actually, but I think that I should correct this. Self-correction. I always struggle to make good friendships and great connections that I genuinely care about. Because it's never been a struggle to me to make friends, but like friendships that I genuinely feel so genuinely connected and happy in and that last has been really hard for me.